everyone, it's Teacher Danielle here. I wanted to make this really quick video talking about your evaluation class with SayAbc. If you've been following the videos, as you would know, your evaluation class is what happens after a successful interview and demo with SayAbc. What is it? It is a real live class with students, up to four students, where they let you teach on the platform, and they want you to show and demonstrate that you can manage the platform and you can manage the classroom with four students and demonstrate sufficiently your teaching skills and capacity. So I want to talk about some things they are specifically looking for on their evaluation rubric. I have seen the evaluation rubric after I have been hired and passed the process. Of course, I cannot show that to you. I have to keep it confidential for SayAbc. But this video, I'm going to go into point by point that they're looking for you to demonstrate in your evaluation class. So I'm not going to show you the rubric, but I'm going to go through point by point and just let you know what they're looking for. If you have not applied to SayAbc yet, I would love to be your referring teacher. If you are interested, my link is below. You can click that link and that adds me as your referring teacher and mentor. And my code is at the bottom. It's EGGGC. So feel free to use me as your referring teacher if you have not applied yet. If you have already applied and you don't have a referring teacher, I would love to be a referring teacher. You can send an email to SayAbc Recruitment. Their email is below, and copy me on it or let them know that I am helping you in the process. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so my first tip, it's actually not in the SayAbc rubric itself, just my personal tips. When you get your evaluation class, you can actually preview the class ahead of time. And when you go into preview the class, there's actually it's a really cool section that you can take notes. I would use that section and take notes. You can take notes on each slide. So as you click slide, 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 you can actually see your notes. Because trust me, you're going to forget what you want. You're going to practice, okay, I got this, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And when you're in the class with all the adrenaline pumping, you forget. So I would highly suggest take notes. Honestly, I do not take notes for each class. Now that I'm a hired teacher, I don't. My point is, for your evaluation class, you want to nail it. You want to wow them. So when you're prepping, like, okay, this is where I want to bring out my puppet, or this is where I want to have a microphone, or show flashcards, put that in your notes. It'll help you to remember. And that brings me on to my next point, your environment. Just like in your interview, like the tips I gave before on how to pass your interview and your demo, you want to make sure you have a clean background. It doesn't have to be complicated, but I suggest a blank wall of some kind and something that makes it look like a classroom, whether it be your name, the ABCs, that's it. I'm a really simple teacher. I don't believe in going crazy, getting too many props, or stressing out, but you want to have a professional looking background. And also, like I've talked about in my other video on how to pass your interview, you want to make sure you have good lighting. You don't want to be a lot of shadows on your face. They can't see your face clearly. They can't see your background clearly. So make sure you have good lighting, and if not, make sure you improve it before your evaluation class. Also, talking about the height of your computer and your eye contact, you want your camera to be at eye level. So if it's not, get some books or get a computer stand and make sure you prop your computer up so you're not looking down at the students. The computer is usually too low. So make sure your computer is at eye level. And also, of course, make sure your attire is proper. On the rubric, it actually gives you a point to be wearing the SayAbc logo, or like have a t-shirt with the SayAbc logo. If I were you, I wouldn't buy a t-shirt until I'm hired. So you have two options. You could do like what I do and just print it out and have it on the wall. Or you could get this same printout and do like a small square and like paper clip it onto your shirt. But you just want to make sure the SayAbc logo is visible. You literally get a point for that. Just giving you all the information I can. So you want the SayAbc logo somewhere on your wall or on your shirt. If it's on your shirt, just make sure it's not too low that it's not visible. So I think the safest bet would be just make sure it's on your wall. My next point would be the instructions. So it's not going to be like in your interview with just one student, you're gonna have 4. And so you need to, again, put in the notes exactly what you want to say for your instructions. Don't use incidental language. What is incidental language? Where you use language to explain what you want. Okay, now Tommy, I want you to look at this slide and see what letters do you see. And can you circle the letter C? That's a lot of words. That's a lot of complication. So simplify your instructions. Make sure it's very simple, the less words possible, but direct and to the point. So again, that's where these notes come in the PowerPoint slide. Maybe literally write the instructions you want to give. Circle C and write that. And so when you're in the slide and you get nervous, just say that. They're looking that you can give clean, concise, simple instructions. Okay? So of course, they're looking for good pronunciation and that you speak slowly. Again, I get nervous. Practice the slides, practice the correct pronunciation and speaking at the correct pace, speaking slowly. Also, don't forget about your TPR. That's another point in the rubric. They want you to use your gestures, your body to demonstrate. That's where I think you just have to practice. Practice your TPR and don't forget. And also, another area that you need to be focused on is giving accurate or giving productive feedback. What does that mean? If a student makes an error, be sure to correct them. Don't let it slip and be sure to nip it in the bud right away. And this is you have to be careful because again, you don't want to overcorrect and nitpick. So you have to look at the level. If it's a level 0, they are more like basic learners, just parroters. So if they can just parrot after you. But if you have a level 2, they should be able to speak in some grammatically correct sentences. And if they say, I wear coat when I cold, fix that. You want to get them to say, the full sentence. But if it's a level 0 and they simply mispronounce the word, then you get them to pronounce it. You're not going to expect a level 0 to speak in complete sentences. But they do expect you to give good feedback and error correction in a timely manner. And then this brings me into the next point, talking about giving each student one-on-one attention. Now, again, they're looking to see that you can manage a class of 4 students, not 1. They're looking to see that you give each student individual attention. So you have 4 students. How do you do that? A suggestion for you make a tally sheet. Like on the side, Tommy, Sally, Annie, and Johnny. Literally on a piece of paper, I would, on a sticky, just somewhere, write the 4 names. Okay? And then in the lesson, something that has worked for me personally, dealing with a 4-student classroom, I have them all on mute usually. I have them on mute and I say, okay, what color is this? Or whatever the question is. And then I say, do you know? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. And it's really, I've never seen American kids do it. They go like this to raise their hand. They prop and they're very serious with raising their hand. So then I would call Johnny. Drag Johnny up to the screen, have Johnny answer. On the side, I'll tally Johnny 1. And I'll continue to do that throughout the class. Who knows? Raise your hand. And as I go through, if I notice that, for example, one student, Sally, or somebody is nothing, they haven't participated. Okay, so then I would say, hey, Sally, do you know? You need to have some kind of way to give each student attention. They're looking to see that you get each student to engage. So again, I don't do this tally sheet for all of my classes, but for your evaluation, until you get a good rhythm, I would suggest doing it. Whatever way that works for you, but make sure that you give each student individual attention. Don't just have them answer in a chorus, if that makes sense. You want to give each student individual attention. Also, they do have a section about props. They're looking for props. So again, don't go out and spend anything crazy, but if you have a puppet, basic puppet, I have this print of a microphone and maybe a whiteboard. and you can have the key words of the lesson there or the letters or whatever. About a secondary reward system, you don't need to necessarily with the SayAbc platform, because there are what we have, they call it reward cards. They're like little trophies you can send to each student individually or to the class as a whole. And also they're looking to make sure that you use the platform correctly. What am I talking about? Once you've passed your interview in your training session, your trainer will show you how to use the platform and how to send reward cards. And the good thing about the reward cards, you don't have to make your own tally in on a paper, because once you give a student a reward card, on their name you'll see like +1, +2, or plus whatever it is for the rewards. So props, I would say minimal. Be sure that you are using your reward system. It's into my last point about your evaluation class is the efficiency. They're looking that you can efficiently use the platform and don't waste a lot of time. They're looking that you can effectively manage the classroom within the correct time. Oh, and a last point, of course, this is not on the this is not on the rubric, but just my personal tip. There's a timer built into the classroom on the platform. Don't use it. It's wonky, I think, for now. They continue making changes to the platform, which is great, but I don't trust it. I would just have my phone. There's a timer on my phone. I would set my phone timer when the class begins, click start, and I'd have that going on the side, and then I would know. And that's another thing you can put into the notes. For example, if you have 30 slides and you know you have to do this in 40 minutes, on slide 15, I would put that I should be 20 minutes or less. And if I'm like at the halfway point and I am like 30 minutes, you gotta get going. Or you know that if you're going too slow or too fast. So I would put time markers at the appropriate slides throughout the lesson to kind of give you a checkpoint, more or less. The slides will say like, oh, 1 minute or 1.5 minutes per slide. Don't get too hung up on that, but I would say a general idea about halfway or a quarter or a halfway or 3/4, so that you kind of know. Okay? So those are my tips for the evaluation class. I hope this was clear and concise. I tried to keep this brief for you. This is what I know they're looking for as of now. Just have fun with it. There is no perfect evaluation class. It will not be perfect, but do your best. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is below. I am happy to help you regardless of where you are in the process.